Hello, movie lovers. Bob for Bob's movie review here, and today I'm bringing you guys my August 2019 Blu-ray, DVD, 4K Steelbook collection update. Be sure to click subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload great new content. If you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to show it some love and give it a like rating. So actually quite a few titles in August. If you guys didn't know already, I was on vacation in August and I did my best to keep up with titles. Unfortunately, there's a few here that I just still haven't reviewed yet. Hopefully I'll be reviewing them soon. But I took some stuff with me on vacation, and then when I got back, I just tried to get through as much as I could. Had a lot of stuff waiting for me. But let's get into it, guys. Of course, like always, I want to thank you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, none of this stuff would have got sent to me. So let's I like to do these. Whoever sends the most gets the priority. Kind of go in order who sends the most. So first up, we have from Lionsgate. They sent over The Command on Blu-ray. Now, this movie was about a Russian submarine, and they're out on a training mission, and there's an accident, and the sub sinks, and the men are all trapped. But the Russian government doesn't want any help, and these guys are trapped down there, and there's some other governments trying to help them, but they really don't want the help, and they're really not having a lot of success on their own. When this movie first started, I was like, it's kind of slow. They had a really weird aspect ratio. But once the whole thing with the submarine starts, I thought this was a really cool movie, guys. Definitely check this one out if you haven't already. Next up was Project Ithaca. Now, this one was about aliens and alien abduction, and like the spaceship, I think it was, could exist in different time periods. Like they had people in there who were from different time periods, but they weren't necessarily time traveling. I don't know. It was a little confusing. I didn't completely understand this movie. It was okay, but I didn't love it. And of course, Lionsgate did send that one for review. They sent over the souvenir here on DVD. And this was a British movie. I don't know. It was about this woman, and she's like going to film school, and she's got this boyfriend who is kind of taking advantage of her. And I just didn't get into this one too much. They also sent over Vault, and this was a movie about these guys who, it was like in the 70s or something. And they're trying to steal all this money from some organized crime vault where they store their money. And this is a heist movie, and I actually enjoyed this one. I don't really enjoy heist movies that much because they get so repetitive, but this one was pretty cool. I definitely like this one. Definitely a little bit of a twist on it. Very interesting. Check this one out for sure. Probably actually one of my favorite movies of the month too. Lionsgate did send over Trial by Fire. And this was based on the true story of this guy. And I'm not saying he was like a really bad person or whatever, but he was kind of a drunk, and he kind of abused his wife some, and they would fight and yell and whatever. And I think there was kind of this whole deal where they kind of abused each other. It wasn't like he was just always beating her up. Like they'd kind of hit each other around and whatnot. And there ends up being this fire, and it kills his 3 kids. And they just immediately assume that he killed them for some reason. I don't know that they ever really had a good reason why he would have killed them, other than that he just wasn't a good person. And he protests his innocence the whole time. And definitely a very interesting movie. I always kind of like these crime movies. This one was really well done, really interesting. Check that one out for sure. They also sent over Killers Anonymous. Now, this movie was about this group who would get together, and they're killers, and they were like assassins. And there was kind of more going on to this group than really met the eye, and you kind of learn a little as you go along. Jessica Alba's hardly in the movie, and I didn't get into that one too much. The Last Man in San Francisco. This was about this guy. and he was kind of poor, and he lived with his friend, and there's this house that either his grandpa built or he believed his grandpa built, and he was just kind of obsessed with the house, and the family had lost it years ago, and he's trying to find a way to get it back. And the people end up moving out, and he just kind of moves in, and he's squatting there. And definitely an interesting story. I definitely like the main character. It was definitely a slow movie for sure, but kind of a cool story. Check that one out. They also sent over The Apocalypse Now 40th anniversary. I did post an unboxing of this one. It was definitely a cool packaging, and I was very surprised at how cheap it was. It was only, less than $25 on day one. You get 6 discs. You get the new 4K Final Cut. You get the Blu-ray Final Cut. You get the Redux on 4K. You get the Redux on Blu-ray. You get the original on 4K. You get the original on Blu-ray. You get a special features Blu-ray and a Blu-ray Hearts of Darkness: A Filmmaker's Apocalypse. So pretty crazy for only 20-some dollars. Now this is a classic movie, 40th anniversary, kind of a film fan favorite. Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now. I'm ashamed to admit I had never seen it. This is a war movie about the Vietnam War, and Martin Sheen is sent to assassinate Marlon Brando, who's gone crazy, and it's kind of about their journey going up the river to try to get to where Marlon Brando is, and kind of once they get there, everything's all crazy. And definitely an interesting movie. 3 hours for me is a little long. I definitely like the journey more than when they got there. It just seems so like it was just really weird, but definitely a movie to check out. Now they also sent over American Gods: The Complete Second Season on Blu-ray. Now I hadn't seen this one before, so jumping in on season 2, and I really feel like I really needed to see season 1. I found this show to be like a really cool production. I really liked kind of the look of it and the feel of it and the characters and the way they were doing things, except I didn't feel like I felt lost a lot. Like I just didn't feel like I knew what they were doing or why. And obviously, missing season 1, I'm going to have missed some stuff, but at the same time, I just feel like I didn't really understand what was going on. So all these people are actually gods, and there's the new gods and the old gods, and they want to go to war. And I'm sure a lot of that was explained in the first season, but they're just like looking for weapons and trying to find people, and I don't know, try to get people on their side. I didn't really understand it, but I did enjoy it. I'll have to check out season 1 at some point. Now, I didn't get a chance to check this one out yet. Was Into the Badlands: The Complete Third Season on Blu-ray. I don't know if this is the final season or what. I've never seen this show. I don't know anything about it. But I will be checking that one out. Hopefully I get a review up for you guys soon. Unfortunately, September's pretty packed too. So final Lionsgate title they did send over was The Spanish Princess. Now, I'm not sure what this is. It says stars on it. It doesn't say a season or anything, but it's like 8 hours. So I kind of want to think this is like a mini series or just like a one-off kind of thing where it's just a 8 hours, 7.5 hours, but it's not going to be seasons or whatever. But I haven't got a chance to check that one out yet either. Next up will be Warner Brothers. Kind of crazy. I got a lot of titles from Warner Brothers, and just a couple months ago, they weren't sending anything. So kind of crazy how much stuff they sent this last month. I didn't even realize it till right now when I was making my stacks. And I wasn't expecting this one, just kind of came. I think all the reviewers were saying the same thing. This one's Lego DC Batman Family Matters. Kind of a crazy title there. And this does include a Lego Mini Ultimate Batmobile, $10 value there. I didn't open it. It is sealed in a bag inside. In the pieces, you have to put it together. But this one is Lego Batman. And what happens? This guy, Red Hood, is kind of like taking over Gotham. And Bruce Wayne has sold his company, and he had these like artificial intelligence robots or something, and they're attacking the city. And it has tons of heroes: Batwoman, Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, Batman, and almost every villain. Definitely a cool show. I definitely enjoyed this one. Check this one out, guys. If you guys are into Batman or Lego movies, I think that was definitely worth a watch. They also sent over Arrow, the complete 7th season. Now, this isn't quite the final season. They got one more kind of shortened season coming out. I'm trying to remember what happened in this one. It's been a little bit since I watched it now. Arrow gets out of prison. Oh yeah, and all the other vigilantes. The dog guy and Black Siren and all this. They've all gone straight, but of course the police need help, and so all the vigilantes are like, well, we'll just come help, and then they're like, well, being a vigilante is illegal. You guys signed agreements that you won't be vigilantes anymore. And then they're like, well, we won't be vigilantes. We'll be ourselves. So they're just like vigilantes without costumes. And, I thought the beginning of this season was very repetitive. And I was just getting a little tired of that same vigilante, and Felicity saying, oh, Oliver's in prison. You guys don't understand. And eventually they got through that. And I thought this season ended up being really good. I really enjoyed it, guys. They definitely kind of leave it open for the next season. Definitely curious to see how this one ends. It was good. I liked it, guys. Check that one out. This one here, The Sun is Also a Star. I was pretty surprised this one only got released on DVD. Now, they did send this one over for review. This was, it had good advertising. They were showing it in trailers at the theaters and stuff. So that's why I was kind of surprised it only got a DVD release. Maybe it didn't do too well. But basically, these two kind of have a chance meeting. Like, he thinks she's going to get run over by a car, and so he kind of grabs her, and he's telling her, kind of like, do you believe in love at first sight? And she's like, I don't believe in love. And he says he's going to prove it to her, but he's supposed to be going to an interview for college, and she's being deported the next day because she's Jamaican, and I don't want to get into it, but she's being deported with her family. And so she has to try to figure out a way to stay because she doesn't want to leave. And he's trying to get her to fall in love with him. For a rom-com, guys, I did enjoy this one. It doesn't get too mushy. It has a little bit of a kind of a strange ending to it. Not quite what you would expect. But I did actually enjoy this one, guys. Check that one out. They also sent over The Flash. This is the 5th season. I love this season, guys. It was so much fun. The Flash's daughter, here on the cover, comes from the future and kind of ends up messing up the timeline, and they end up kind of having to fix some stuff, and she kind of gives them away too much information about the future. And there's also kind of a lot of stuff she's hiding that you really don't learn about until the end. Cool thing on this one is Chris Klein guest stars as one of the main villains. I definitely liked him in this. I didn't like that they kind of turned him. I just thought that was a little cheesy that they kind of turned him towards the end, But definitely a great season, guys. Check that one out for sure. They sent over Batman Hush. Now, this was a cool movie where this guy is kind of trying to take out Batman, and nobody knows who he is. He's Hush. And this one had, I'm trying to remember, this has been so long ago. This one did have a lot of villains and a lot of heroes, or not a lot of heroes, I don't think. There were some, but like every villain. This is definitely a cool movie, guys. Check this one out for sure. They sent over The Curse of La Llorona. And maybe you guys can settle this for me. A lot of people are saying this is a Conjuring universe movie. It does say from the producers of the Conjuring universe, but I don't believe it actually has anything to do with The Conjuring. And in it, this woman is like a social worker, and this woman, she handles their case or whatever. I don't know how you say it exactly. Her kids have stopped going to school. She goes to check on them. They're like locked in a closet, and she takes them out for their protection, and they end up getting killed. And then this entity is after her kids, and she kind of has to solve what happened and try to save her kids. Pretty, common for this type of movie. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. It was an okay movie, though. They also sent over Pokemon Detective Pikachu. This is a Pokemon movie, but it is a live-action animation mixture. where this kid is looking for his dad, I believe it is, um, and he finds his Pikachu, and they have to kind of solve this disappearance together. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I don't really know anything about Pokemon. I did enjoy this movie. I feel like if you were into Pokemon, you'd probably enjoy it quite a bit more. I felt like the ending was way too predictable, but definitely a good movie. I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. And the last thing from Warner Brothers was Godzilla, King of the Monsters. This is the prequel to the prequel. This is the sequel to the 2014 Godzilla. And in this one, this group wants to kind of wake up all these monsters, and this woman has created this device to kind of control them in a way. Not exactly control them, but kind of influence them, I guess. And Godzilla has to be the hero. Definitely a cool movie. I definitely enjoyed this one. I do feel like at one point they were kind of like, they made it feel like there was going to be like 30, 40 monsters, all fighting. It ended up being a much smaller scale than that. But definitely some cool action, cool story. Recommend that one for sure. Now from Mill Creek Entertainment, they sent over Pan Am, and this was about the Pan Am stewardesses, and they kind of all have these little stories going on, and one's like an undercover CIA, not like an informant, or I don't know what you'd call it exactly. And this one girl ran away from home, and it does have Christina Ricci and Margot Robbie. And while the performances in this were good, I didn't get into the story too much. The episodes were kind of long, 40 minutes, whatever they were. I didn't get too much into it. It only lasted one season, so not something I was real into. Mill Creek Entertainment also sent over the New Kids. This one was something I had never seen, never heard of. It has Lori Loughlin. Now, I had never seen her really in anything but Full House, I don't think. And these kids, their parents are or their dad's like in the Navy or something, and they end up getting killed in a car accident, and they have to go live with their uncle. And like as soon as they get there, the other kids don't like them, and they kind of pick on them. And the one guy wants to date the girl, and she doesn't want anything to do with him. And they just kind of like get into this like back and forth kind of squabbles. Oh, and James Spader's their leader. And it just keeps escalating to the point that people are actually being murdered. It's a crazy movie. Definitely check this one out, guys. It's something different for sure. Mill Creek Entertainment also sent over Roxanne. This is a Steve Martin rom-com where he plays a fire marshal, I believe it is, in this kind of vacation town. But he has this huge nose, and he meets this woman, and she's kind of into the hunky firefighter. And he has to kind of help that guy, even though he's kind of like in love with her or whatever. I like this one. I know this is my second rom-com I'm recommending this month, but I don't typically get into the rom-coms, but this one was fun. I've always loved Steve Martin. It does have some Steve Martin comedy, especially at the beginning, but it's kind of a fun, heartwarming story. Definitely enjoyed that one, guys. Check it out if you haven't already. I don't know if this is from the 80s or 87, yeah. The last one from Mill Creek Entertainment was White Line Fever. Another one I had never heard about. It's about this guy who buys his own semi, and he has a wife, and they want to have a kid, and they're trying to start a family. And he goes to pick up a load, and this guy wants to put in like cigarettes and slot machines and stuff, and it's illegal contraband, and he doesn't want to do it. So they kind of end up beating him up and leaving him for dead, and then he kind of heals or whatever, and he tries to get back to truck driving, but somehow these guys have like blackballed him in the trucking industry, and so he kind of like forces himself into a load, and basically the whole time these guys are just trying to kill him. Definitely an interesting movie. I really had to question how believable a lot of it was, but definitely another cool one. I think all three of these from Mill Creek Entertainment were pretty good. Now from Wellgo USA was this movie The Brink. And this movie, I'm trying to remember exactly, it had something to do about this gold. These guys were like smuggling in gold, and this cop was trying to find them, and his partner goes missing, and he's trying to find his partner. So it was super long, 100 minutes for what it was. I thought it was an okay movie. Wellgo USA also sent over Shadow. Now this one was about these two groups of people who were at war over this land, and they had peace for a while, and the kind of the ruler wanted to keep the peace, but the people wanted to fight, and there ends up being like this battle. Like the guy's supposed to have like this one-on-one fight, and then all the other people like go to battle. And this thing was like this crazy visuals. It was super interesting visually. A good story, good acting. I didn't understand all of it completely, but this is a pretty cool movie. Definitely just like visually really awesome. And it was kind of like a black and white, artistic. There was a little bit of color. Definitely check that one out, guys. I don't think either of those were available with English language. Oh yeah, this one, Shadow, was available with English, but The Brink was not. All right, now I got just a whole stack of just singles here that were sent to me. Paramount Pictures sent over Rocket Man. This is a cool movie, guys. I at first I was like super hyped about it because you know, just coming off of not that long ago, the Bohemian Rhapsody, expecting something really big out of this, and then my dad saw it and he's like, "Oh, it's a musical," and I was like, "Well, I don't know. It doesn't really portray it as a musical in the trailers." So I was a little bummed on it. So watched it. It is part musical, but I wouldn't call it really a full-on musical. It's kind of like a rockumentary, musical, drama, fantasy, just kind of all rolled up into one neat package. In where Elton John is like at a AA meeting or something, and he's kind of telling the story of his life from when he's a child to, I'm not sure what age he's supposed to be at. That was kind of one of my complaints about this movie, is that they really don't give you any indication of how much time has passed, how much older he is. Maybe based on the outfits, if you knew him well enough, maybe you could know. I don't know. I don't know his career at all. But I really enjoyed this one, guys. I thought it was a good movie. Definitely for sure check that one out. Screen Media sent over Deep Murder. This was definitely a really cool idea, a very unique idea. I'm not sure that I've ever seen a movie quite like this. So what happens is these people, and I don't remember if it was supposed to be like in the 70s or the 80s or something. I honestly don't remember. I don't think it was supposed to be like present day, but they're making a porno, and somebody ends up dying while they're making it, like they're murdered. And basically the whole movie is the characters are the people. So, you know, there's like the dumb jock, the babysitter, you know, the clueless older husband or whatever, you know, and they just kind of have all these stereotypical characters that they play. Definitely thought it was kind of funny. It is a horror comedy. Interesting. There's some interesting kills, interesting story. I feel like they could have just developed this a little bit better and it would have been great, but I think it's pretty good. And if you guys are kind of into horror comedies, check that one out for sure. For Digital Media sent over Pentagram. This kind of has this shiny slipcover on it. If you guys can, it's probably getting all cut out with the green screen. So maybe what we could do is take off the slipcover. So this one was about these people who are going across the country to try to get their friend into rehab, and they're kind of robbing places along the way, and they end up at this house trying to find something to fix their car or something, like the radiator had got shot out, so they're, I don't know, trying to find water or something for it. I can't remember what they were doing. And there's this guy there in a pentagram, and they end up getting stuck in the pentagram and they can't leave. Unfortunately, most of the movie takes place with them inside the pentagram. It was an okay movie. Next up from Gravitas Ventures, this one is Perception. Yeah, Perception. I haven't gotten a lot of physical copies from Gravitas Ventures. This is definitely kind of a low quality release. This is like this is a burn on demand type thing. And even you can see that the sticker goes all the way to the edge of the disc. So it's a kind of a cheaper quality thing. The movie, though, was about this guy who's like a real estate developer or something. And there's this people he's kicking out of this like shopping mall. And the woman in there is like a fortune teller. And she like reads his fortune. And it ends up being like there's this woman from his past that he wants to talk to that's dead. And he kind of becomes like this crazy stalker. Definitely interesting movie. Give that one a chance. Passion River very lately sent over We Have Always Lived in the Castle. I was definitely interested in this one. Tessa Farmiga, Alexandra Daddario, Crispin Glover, and Sebastian Stan. Great cast. In this, these two sisters live in this, it's kind of like a big house. I don't think it's technically a castle. And they're kind of shut-ins, and they're rich, and the townspeople don't like them, and they don't like their family. And their cousin, played by Sebastian Stan, comes to stay with them, and he kind of doesn't like the way anything's going, and he's trying to change it, and he's kind of separating the two sisters. It's definitely an interesting story, but kind of slow. Next up, Plus One from RLJE Films. I had reviewed this one when it released in theaters, and I hate to say it, a third rom-com of the month I'm going to go ahead and recommend to you guys. This one was about these two friends. They were college friends. It's several years later. Everybody's getting married, and between the two of them, they have like 9 or 10 weddings they have to go to. So they decide to go to all of them together, kind of as dates, or, they're going to split the expenses and whatnot. And they kind of start falling for each other. But they kind of have this real cool kind of, just friend vibe back and forth. And I thought it was a fun movie, guys, for sure. Artsploitation Films sent over this Devil's Playground. Yeah. And this was, I believe this was released in 1976. I have not got around to watching it yet, though. So now for all of my purchases. Disney Movie Rewards was having a sale, and I had like 6,000 points or some ridiculous number. So I picked up some movies on there. I don't think I've ever seen any of them. I got The Rookie, $1 Million Arm, Muppets Most Wanted. I think this is this the first or the second Muppets? I've never seen either. The Lion Guard, Life in the Pride Lands. That came with slipcover. And The Lion Guard, Return of the Roar. Now for all the steelbooks I got the John Wick mini steelbook, or John Wick 3, excuse me, mini steelbook. I have not watched this one yet, but I did post an unboxing of this. If you guys were just curious, that's what it looks like. Your code is actually just right here on the card. Kind of cool. It's just a digital copy on that. I got the Forbidden World from Shout Factory, and also Galaxy of Terror from Shout Factory. This is in my stack. Did this also come out? Humanoids from the Deep. Maybe this was the month before. I don't remember, but it was in my stack. I got the Avengers Best Buy Steelbook. Now, unfortunately, since I was out of town, I didn't post unboxings of any of these steelbooks. Kind of missed out on that. Love this movie. I haven't got to rewatch it yet. Got the Thor Steelbook, Thor the Dark World Steelbook, Iron Man Steelbook, Iron Man 2 Steelbook, Iron Man 3 Steelbook. So I got all those Marvel 4K Steelbooks. Also picked up the Goonies Steelbook. I posted an unboxing of this. I've always loved this movie. Picked up the Secret Life of Pets 2 4K Steelbook. I posted an unboxing of that. I haven't seen that one, and I haven't seen the first one yet either. And I also picked up the Beetlejuice Steelbook. Posted an unboxing of that one. It's definitely a cool movie. All right, then the rest of my purchases. I picked up The Nun on 4K as an upgrade from Epic Pictures. I picked up Hoax. I haven't seen that one yet. I think that's a kind of like a Bigfoot movie. I did find on eBay Swamp Thing Volume 3 for cheaper than normal. I kind of question, if this is a ripoff or what, but whatever. I did pick up on Amazon American Gods Season 1. Hopefully I could try to figure out that show. I picked up, I believe this was on Amazon Us on 4K. I do have the Steelbook, but I like the artwork and stuff, so I wanted to get the regular version. I picked up Evening with Beverly Loughlin on Amazon, and finally Steve Martin Parenthood. So that was everything I got, guys, man. It's ridiculous. Curious what you guys saw, what you picked up, what you thought of any of these movies. I'd love to know down in the comment section below. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave it a like or rating. If you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. Check out the suggested videos. Check out my website, BobsMovieReview.com. And I'll see you guys next time.